Hey, welcome back to Meet the Masons.
Welcome back to TGI Friday.
Woo-hoo.
So it is going to be a chill Friday today. We actually don't have a topic today because we got a lot of questions.
Which is awesome.
Yes, so thank you so much. And River says hello. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi, Mama.
Look at the camera. Say hello.
Hello. Remember how we did today? Hello. Okay. So we're going to head right into our questions. First, we hope you guys are having a great weekend to start off of your weekend.
Mind you, it's Friday, so it's already a great day.
Yes, it is. And don't mind my no makeup chilling today.
Don't
okay?
mind my no makeup either.
Yeah, Mama. All right, so the first question is from Tiffany Gray. How do you keep God in everything you do, including your business?
Mm-hmm. You want to start? Okay. So how do we keep God in everything we do, including our business? First and foremost, we always seek God first. We pray. Not only do we pray, but in our actions, as we're conducting business, one of the first things that you do is you treat everybody with integrity and respect. So you want to honor people because no matter who you're dealing with, they are all children of God. God created everybody. So with that mindset, it's like, hey, if God took the time to make them, I should take the time to respect them. And not only that, when we have returns from our businesses and our investments and different things, we use the same principle that we use from our 9 to 5. If we're going to tithe on that money, we also tithe on what we get from our business endeavors or a side opportunity. So with that, we use that same measure of trusting God with the 90%. Now, a lot of people that have a budget, it's like, oh, well, if I have a budget, I'm budgeting 100% of my money. How am I going to live better off the 90% than the 100%? Well, we trust that we will. Just like a farmer, if you're in the corn business, you don't just sell all your crop. You actually take some of that seed back to plant for more to come.
Yep.
So with business, we do that same thing. You plant into the kingdom of God, and with that, you're expecting more to come later on. So that's how we do it.
Yep.
In a nutshell.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We also write our vision out, and we ask that God establish our thoughts while we're doing our planning for businesses. We also, what is another thing we do? I was going to say it's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, we also are led by the peace of God. So when we're making decisions regarding our business, what step we should take next, we also feel for each other. Do you have a peace about this? Because we believe that you shouldn't go into something with uncertainty. Well, not necessarily uncertainty, but unease. Like, I don't know if I should do this, being unsettled. We have a peace. Even if we don't know all the decisions or understand it all, we keep moving forward with the peace of God. Yeah.
And then with that, with the peace of God, a lot of times people, it's like, oh, well, I have peace about this, I have peace about that. The peace of God is always with you because he's always with you. But you can also put in risk zones. So like, okay, am I standing in integrity? Do I know about the business endeavor? Are the people I'm walking with, are they walking in integrity as far as what I know? Because you can only go as far as your integrity can take you. So if you're creating a zone around you for business endeavors on integrity, moral character and different things like that, you can create like a little square per se, and you have a safe zone to jump in. And as you jump into different zones, you can see your results. And then you expand that zone, and as you expand that zone, that lets you know, okay, I can walk in this area, I can do business here, and you can grow from that.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Question number 2 is from Darna Mead. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. How did you as a couple begin the process for home ownership? So I think we kind of touched on that in one of our previous videos, TGI Friday videos. But we also did a video 2 years ago on, I think it was 10 tips for home ownership, or what to do before you start to begin home ownership. But for us, we definitely looked at our financial situation.
Yeah.
So we looked at our credit to see if we were in a good standing place to do a loan. Because for us, we didn't pay for our house full on like some people do.
Yeah, we'll do it one day.
Yeah, one day. But we started off with a loan. So we knew we had to take out a loan. We looked at our credit, and then we dealt with the things that we needed to deal with. So there were things like collections were on our credit reports. Just things that we needed to get off so that we can move forward. So that is a big thing. Look where you are financially. Create a budget of what you believe that you really can afford, and don't only just look at what the mortgage is going to be. Chances are the mortgage may be slightly higher than what you think once like the taxes and stuff go into it, but also think about what comes along with home ownership. Lawn care, electricity bill, that could be higher. Your water bill could be higher. So don't only think about, can I afford this mortgage, but I would budget an extra maybe $300 cushion for the other things that you may have to do for homeownership.
And you also want to look at insurance, expenses. Not only will you have that, and most people don't think of, oh, what's the light bill going to be? If God can give you the house, he can definitely take care of the light bill. So that's the easy part. But as you're doing that, you want to budget around not just the mortgage, but also how does that affect everything else? Will you be driving farther from home to work? Will that change your gas? Will that change your living expenses? Like, are the grocery stores near you going to be more expensive? Are you going to have enough bedrooms for you and your family? Because you could be a single person, you could be married, you could have children or no children. Yes. So will you have enough space? Because it's great to grow into the house. So you also want to have some wiggle room there, so that way you're not stuck and like, oh man, I need to get out of here. So
yes,
and definitely check the video that we have.
I was just about to say, but I'm gonna leave the link below of the video that we made, because it goes a little bit more into depth about, you know, what our process was into getting to homeownership. So hope that answers your question. All right, the next 4 questions are from KB Chronicles. Thank you so much. You gave us like a lot of content to talk about, so we're excited to answer these questions. Okay, first one. Have you ever had a close friendship end for no apparent reason? If so, how did you react or respond? If not, how would you? I would say that there have been friendships in my life that not necessarily, it didn't end for no apparent reason, but it kind of just gradually faded to little to no contact. I would say, in those situations, if it's a friendship that you really want and you really value, you reach out to that person. Go say, hey, I want to treat you to lunch. Let's have a talk. You know, no one wants to deny free food. So you schedule a time to meet with them, talk it out, see where they are. You never know. Sometimes things happen and things are happening to people and we have no idea what's going on. That can be on your end or their end. And sometimes we do the blame game, like, oh, it ended because da-da-da. But that person didn't know that so-and-so was going through this and that. So sometimes we just have to follow up with our friends to see. You can schedule lunch. If they don't want to do it, leave it as that. Like I said, it's okay. It's okay. It ended. It's okay. But if they do, you know, have that talk with them, and then afterwards see how the follow-up is. If you guys aren't really following up with each other, it's not that you guys have bad blood. It just means that maybe that friendship has come to a close and that season for that friendship is over, and it's okay. But I would say if you are troubled in your spirit, you feel something feel something weird about it, it's for you to go and check upon that person to see how they are. That's what I would say. You have anything for that?
For ones that end, one big thing about friendship is, at least I've learned, I'm not 100 years old, so I'm still learning friendship as I grow. But there's also times, it's like ebbs and flows. Some people you talk to every single day. Some people you talk to once a month, and it feels like you didn't miss a beat. So you kind of want to catch what phase of the friendship that you're in. And then also the people that are really for you, this is one thing we say all the time, people that are for you can never leave. People that are against you, they can't stay for long. So if they're really friends for you, they'll be there for the long haul. And you might call them once every year or once every 2 years. But your real friends, it doesn't matter how long the distance was. Like, I have a friend of mine in Portland, Oregon, and I may talk to him once every 6 months. And I might see him once a year or once every 2 years. But when we do talk and when we do have a chance to meet up, it's always like nothing was ever missing. We give updates and we check in, but he's busy, I'm busy. Right. And so with that, we grow as we go. And then we have other friends that we talk to more regularly. But take it one day at a time. Yeah.
And as Jared was saying, for that friend that we see maybe once every 6 months or talk to once every 6 months, at one point in time, they were together all the time because they were in college together. So it's, you know, you have to realize that we're all growing. We're all growing as adults with more responsibilities. Some of us may have gotten married, had children, started a new career. So that kind of changes the texture of where they are in life. And that could change the relationship as well. But if they really are for you, hey, maybe your relationship means that we just check up on each other every so now and then, but we still love each other, and that's fine too. But you have to be in a place where you're okay with that. Next question. Do you intentionally look for particular qualities in a person before pursuing a friendship with them? If so, what are they?
Yes. One of the first things I look for in anybody is honesty. Now, with honesty, it's something that you have to give a little bit of lag time to find out if it's true. Which sounds funny because when you first meet somebody, you don't know about them. You don't know everything. And when they're presenting themselves to you, it's like, okay, are you showing yourself to be honest? Hey, my name is Jared. Are you giving me a different name at the end of the conversation? It's like, oh, hold on. So just, are they peaceful? Are they nice? Are they sociable? Now, not everybody is sociable. Some people are shy, but they're still great friends. So the qualities that I look in are they being organic? Does it seem like they're building something up for me, or they're just being who they are? Because if they have to build something up for you, you're not sure how long that can hold. But if they're just being normal, natural, relationships that last longest typically happen organically. So if they're just being organic and you can feel that, say, hey, that's one of the first things I look for.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Are you being yourself? Are you being honest? And then towards, once you get to know them, are they trustworthy? How do they talk about other people?
Yeah.
Listen to that, yes, because how they talk about other people is probably how they'll talk about you.
You're next.
Yes. So how they respect others. Just how do you treat me? Like, how do you view me? I kind of look at that, because sometimes people will meet you and they may treat you like, oh, you just some other person. That's not okay. You want to feel like you're special to that person as well, that it's reciprocated. Or some people treat you like, oh my goodness, like you're Kiara or you're Jared. Like it's like, oh, okay, that's nice. And you kind of dictate what kind of relationship that is, what kind of relationship that'll be. Because maybe it's not a friendship, but maybe it's kind of like, oh, I look up to you. You're a mentor type relationship. So it kind of depends. So that's important for me.
Now, one thing I want to add to that is also how they treat themselves. Because at the end of the day, everybody loves or hates people or whatever they choose. But how you love and care for yourself is a real indicative on how you have a capacity to love and care for others. So if you see that somebody doesn't necessarily take care of themselves, it doesn't mean that they're a horrible person. But how do they think of themselves? Because that typically bleeds off into other areas. Now, this is just one example. It's not always that case. But look at how they treat themselves. And then imagine if you were in their shoes, would you want to be in that?
Right.
Yeah.
And one more thing. Sometimes you meet people and you don't know what kind of friendship they're going to be, what kind of friendship it's going to be. So for me, I have friends that are strictly, they just make me laugh, and I need that in my life. Like, they're just funny. We laugh at jokes together, and that's great.
We laugh at jokes together?
Or just life and things like that.
List of jokes?
No.
Hey, this is today's joke.
And then I have other friends where I can confide in. I can tell them personal things. They encourage me. I can be vulnerable with them. Uh-oh, mama. They can be vulnerable with me. That's another kind of relationship. So it kind of just, you kind of see that person and, I don't know, just kind of feel it out. If you feel uncomfortable in any capacity, you can always be cordial to somebody. It doesn't mean that they have to be a close friend. Yeah. All right. Next question. What advice would you give a Christian in graduate school who's in a program that blatantly shuns and disregards God? This is so funny because
it's my favorite question.
This was my life. And more so in, I would say undergrad and graduate school. I was in the social work program. So that means we come from all different walks of life. I mean, religions, colors, politics, all those different things. So, a lot of times in schools, because it's just, a worldly place, they don't really respect people with conservative views or people who believe in God. Like, the thing is to believe in the universe or not to believe in God. And that's fine for them if that's what the route that they want to take. But for me, I always said, let me be a light. I don't have to bash and say, oh, I believe in God and this is why you shouldn't believe, not be a Bible thumper. For me, I just lived out who I believe Jesus is to me. I was always loving. I always listened to what they had to say, because a lot of times they think that as Christians, we're judging them. So for me, I always make sure I listen. Well, one, because I genuinely care about what people have to say. So I always gave them a listening ear on what their views were, even if I didn't agree. So that kind of gave space for them to listen to me when I had to say what I wanted to say. Another thing too, there were times where people did blatantly disrespect like my views or views that other Christians had. And I had to kind of do the reverse psychology thing. I'm like, wow, that really sucks that you would pretty much shun people who believe in God. How does that make those people feel? You may be advocating for people who don't believe in God or have these particular views, but what about the other people? So I always kind of flip the script on how does it make the other party feel when you guys are, spewing hatred or judgment upon those people. And it always kind of took them aback and made them say, oh, even though I don't agree, I guess that's not right for me to treat these people that way because they don't have the same beliefs as me. So that's kind of how I navigated my graduate school life. Yeah.
One of the things I'm always a fan of is showing your fruit. So what I mean by that, we've been saying more recently, especially with our mentors and our pastors, the difference between a mature apple tree and an immature apple tree is having fruit. Doesn't mean that's not a tree. Doesn't mean it's not an apple tree. It just doesn't have fruit in season. So with that, as being a Christian in a program that completely opposes Christianity, let your light shine. And you don't have to go around and read the Bible to everybody. You want to go, you want to get good grades, you want to show up on time, you want to walk in excellence and integrity and all those things, and live that out. So your main purpose is not necessarily in every situation to read somebody a scripture, but it could be your example. Are you literally being the best example of a Christ-like example in your atmosphere? Because Christ had answers for things. So if people had questions, he had answers. But he also, there were some times where he would disappear into the crowd. He would just walk off. He would just be silent and have people do things or say things, and he didn't do anything. But there are some times where he flipped some tables. I'm not saying flip some tables in your classroom. That's not what I'm proposing at all. But there are certain situations where you would stand up and say something. You would make your voice heard. But then there's also situations where your best example is how you're living, how you're leading your life. And then also what you do in public is a result of what happens in your life in private. So if you're saying, hey, I'm supposed to be a Christian, you got to also remember the promises in the word that says, I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above only, I'm not beneath. So you always want to be at the top. That doesn't mean you always will be at the top, because there's qualifiers to get those promises. But you want to walk out, okay, am I doing my part? And if I am, that's my part. And once you do your part, then you part. Peace. And graduate, cum laude, or whatever the case may be, and have fun. Keep it moving.
Absolutely. All right, last question. If you don't mind sharing, do you plan to homeschool River? What are your reasons to or not to? So I think we shared in a previous video that we are doing a baby curriculum with her right now. So as far as that goes, yes. After that, probably not. Mainly because our child is very social. She loves people. She loves to talk. So I want to foster that. Jared and I both went to public school, and I honestly believe that raising your child is about how you raise them at home. And what you do at home, they use that with the decisions that they make at school. So I don't see, like, you know, like, I see the benefits of homeschooling a private school, a public school, but for me, I don't think it's a school that is gonna dictate someone's future. I really believe that it's what we do as parents, what God has destined for them. And I enjoyed my public school experience. There were bad things. There are things that I probably should have asked my mom about and not learned from my friends at first, but I mean, it's life. We're not gonna be everything to her, so. No,
there are pros and cons to both. I won't get into all the pros and cons, because I actually did have a season in my life where I had a chance to go to private school. It was a great experience, loved the experience, and actually I learned a lot because it was a private academy. So it gives you a mindset on how to live and how to do things. It puts you in a different track. But at the same time, the end result of a lot of the opportunities between private and public schools, if you look 10 years down the line, it's not 100% of people that went to private school have this result, or vice versa. So, which one do you want to go to?
Which
she
one?
said daddy. You want me to choose?
She's starting to say dada now.
Yeah, that's my little girl. But so at the end of the day, a lot of what we've learned and seen with our parents and other families is what you pour into your children is typically what comes out of them. So it doesn't necessarily, in every aspect, dictate what happens later based on public or private school. So we're leaning towards public school. But yeah, we'll talk about it when she gets older.
Right, because you know those things could change. I mean, yeah, they definitely could. And I would say another thing too is because her birthday was late, where we are in the state of Florida. If you're born after September 1st, then you have to wait another year to enter school.
You having fun?
So depending on where she is, which we know she's probably going to be advanced, we may put her in private school so that she can be with her other peers and not be a year behind. Because I was a year behind. You know, we're all September babies, but Jared got to graduate on time. I didn't, and I was like the smartest one in my class, I would say, but I was also very bored because I was beyond what people were in my my grade level. So it really depends on the child. So we may do private school for an extent of time and then go to public school. Well, anyway, you guys, we are excited that it's Friday. It's the weekend. We are gonna have a date night. We're going out this weekend. We're going to see Black Panther. So we excited about that. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you guys budget. Have fun, don't go too crazy, and just be present. You like it now?
Have fun. Live it up.
Yes.
It's Friday.
Yes, and don't forget to leave us questions again below. Like I said, thank you so much to KB Chronicles, Tiffany Gray, and Donna Mead for leaving all these questions. We love questions, so keep them coming. Love you guys. See you guys next week. Bye.
Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
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 Let's see your hands. Do it.
Open and close. Open and close.
Do it.
You silly girl. All right, guys.